Hello and welcome to a very special edition of Cab TV. We're in West Yorkshire. We're on our way to the mayoral offices of Alison Lowe OBE. She's Deputy Mayor for Policing and Crime. We're here to find out what the police in West Yorkshire are doing for the large British Muslim population here in West Yorkshire. Over 300,000 of you. And as always, we're putting your questions to Alison to find out what she's been doing and is planning to do for West Yorkshire. Should be an interesting conversation. I'm very excited to meet her. Alison, lovely to meet you. You're Deputy Mayor of Policing and Crime.
Yes.
West Yorkshire covers, as we can see behind us, it covers a large area. What are some of the most significant policing and crime challenges and what are you doing to try and address them?
When the Mayor was elected, serious violence and developing the serious violence strategy was her one and only pledge because that was what the public were telling us they were most concerned about. We'd had over her first term several high-profile murders of young people, and it was young people killing young people, which was a double tragedy. All crimes are a priority, but we know that 50% of all crimes are online and 80% have a digital element. So a growing issue for policing is that capacity to deal with that growing phenomenon.
You've mentioned serious violent crime. Let's just delve into that a little. There's been a national rise in knife crime, of course, and antisocial behaviour, which you've touched on in recent years. Is this a trend that you are seeing then in West Yorkshire?
Knife crime has been a growing and emerging issue for some years, which is why violence reduction units were set up in 2019. And knife crime has gone down just under 11% in West Yorkshire, so it's having an impact. But you can't say that it's getting better when young people are dying. You can't say that because that's an insult to the parents, the families of those who have lost. And so whatever we're doing, we need to do more. We need to move further and faster because children are still dying. And we know that there's been a cultural shift with young people, that they are frightened to leave their homes without carrying some form of weapon. We know that social media is playing a massive role in this. When I was a child, you know, you'd get told someone's going to beat you up after school. Well, you knew you were going to get your head kicked in on the field, but you didn't think you were going to die.
No.
Now these young people actually think they're going to die. They see other young people dying, so they believe that they're at risk and they will take a knife. And the data shows if you take a knife, you're 4 times more likely to use that knife or for the knife to be used against you. So immediately you see the problem. The more knives that are carried, the more deaths that will happen. So we need to break this connection that, oh, I've got a problem with someone, I've got a beef with someone, I need to carry a knife to do something about that. And so the reason we're having this big conversation, the Tell Tracy, the Your Voice consultation, is to understand from everybody in West Yorkshire, but particularly children and young people, what is the problem? What is it you need from us as adults? Because we as adults, we're not delivering for you, we're not protecting you. That's our job and we are failing. So trust us, tell us what it is that we need to be doing differently. Help us to protect you and to do our jobs, because as children you should be living good lives, having fun, doing things that, you know, we did as kids, not worrying whether you're going to get stabbed when you go to school.
Yeah, clearly having an impact on the ground when it comes to the public. What do you hear from them in terms of, is there a sense of frustration around some victims maybe not getting the results that they expected?
Yeah, absolutely. Following the murder of Sarah Everard, of course, the public's trust and confidence in policing, especially around violence against women and girls, was very low. Obviously, we've got a big problem nationally, but here in West Yorkshire as well, domestic abuse. We have about the last 12-month period that up to March 2025, I think the number was 52,000 domestic abuse cases, 1,000 a week here into West Yorkshire. And Tracy and I have been able to bring our own lived experience of survivors of sexual violence to our conversations with policing to help them to see that we can bring this victim lens to the way that we investigate crimes. So now West Yorkshire Police have got substantial training, a 2-day training package for every police officer that is accredited by Safe Lives and National Women's Aid. They didn't have that before Tracy and I came into office.
Okay, I just wanted to touch on the black and Asian communities that you just mentioned there. The Police Race Action Plan, of course, is underway, and the Chief Constable apologised for black people being over-policed in the past. What's progress been like on that, just briefly?
So confidence amongst black and brown people has always traditionally been lower than their white counterparts, and it remains lower, but the gap has shrunk, and the rate of dissatisfaction has slowed down. So there are some green shoots, some signs that black and brown communities have got more trust and confidence, but there's still loads more to do.
Yeah. And West Yorkshire proudly has a rich and vibrant and diverse community. Over 300,000 British Muslims living in the region, particularly, as you say, in Bradford. So what would you want to say to the Muslim population in West Yorkshire about joining the police force? Why is that so important?
It's really important that people of all black minority ethnic communities join West Yorkshire Police, because we make up 24% of the population and only represent 10% of policing. So we've got about just under 6,000 police officers and only 600 of them are black or brown. That's not right. That's not fair. How can the police be the force that we need them to be? So come along, join the force. You will make West Yorkshire Police a better force for the next generation, for your grandchildren. So do it.
Just sticking with Muslims and a rise, sadly, in Islamophobia, particularly following the far-right anti-immigration riots and protests in the summer. What's your office doing to address that rise in anti-Muslim hate crimes?
So we get regular data about the rise of hate crime, and faith hate crime has increased about 16%. So we know that there's a lot of fear in our communities. We proudly stand with all our citizens here in West Yorkshire, and we're not afraid to speak up when we see terrible things happening.
Yeah. It's Alison Lowe OBE.
Yes.
I would love to talk about that just for a second. First of all, when did you get it? And tell me that story when you found out that you were going to get an OBE. It's massive.
It is massive, you know. My dad came here from St Kitts back in 1957, part of the Windrush generation. You know, when he came, he wasn't allowed to be a plasterer, and that's what he was. He was a trained, skilled workman. He had to clean toilets, as, you know, many immigrants before him and since have had that same story. But he was determined to succeed, and he was determined that his family would succeed. And he was not here when I got the letter. The letter came here actually to Wyker, and I got a phone call to say, oh, you've got a letter from the Cabinet Office. And I said, oh, well, open it then, open it, thinking it was an invitation to go somewhere to do with this role. And it was the Mayor's Chief of Staff who opened it, and he went, oh, I shouldn't have opened this letter. They're offering you an OBE. And I was just so overwhelmed. And I just thought of my dad and the journey that he'd been on. And I rung my mum, because she was still with us at that time, and she was obviously really proud. My mum was Irish heritage. Yeah. And I felt that my dad's story had meaning. My dad's faith in this country and his ability to thrive in this country, suddenly it had meaning, because I was delivering for him the Britain that he came to back in 1957. Wow. I was giving to him and his memory the legacy that he hoped to leave, and so I was really proud, but I was most proud because my dad would have been happy.
It's an amazing story. You should be proud of yourself as well, clearly. Thank you for that, Alison. Just a final question for you, really, and let's end on a really positive note, which is, you know, clearly West Yorkshire runs through you, right? That's come across loud and clear. Tell me about the best of West Yorkshire. What's so great about it? Oh, wow, the people. The people are amazing, they're funny, they're honest, they're brutal. Oh my God, the people are just the best. Alison, a fascinating conversation. Thank you very much for your time. Thanks for talking to Cab TV. Appreciate how forthcoming you've been. Thanks so much. Thank you so much. Wow, what an amazing chat with Alison Lowe OBE, Deputy Mayor for Policing and Crime in West Yorkshire. Thank you to Alison for her time this afternoon. Such an amazing chat. Frank, honest, powerful. And if you liked what you've heard and seen, give us a like, give us a follow and subscribe to get all the great content coming your way very soon.